Don't worry, bro. If that nigga say one more word, I ain't gonna like get him up out of here. Don't laugh or nothing. I don't want to see you laughing or nothing. You know what I'm saying? If I see your name pop up again, you're out, bro. You better be quiet, bro. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? Just keeping it real with you. You know what I'm saying? But we got the most genius bank heist ever. And spam one in the chat, except for him. If I see you spam one, I promise you, you're gone. You know what I mean? But spam one, you feel me, if you've watched Money Heist. I told y'all, man. Money Heist, Tokyo, Nairobi. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Berlin. You know what I'm saying? My man Berlin, like, was crazy. Okay, look, I try to tell y'all I talk about Money Heist a lot because, y'all, bro, I told you my top 3 favorite shows ever. You never watched Money Heist on Netflix? If you haven't watched Money Heist, you haven't lived. Please tell me you watched Breaking Bad. Boy, if y'all ain't watched them 2 shows, I ain't gonna lie, you haven't lived life yet. The next show I'm gonna watch is Game of Thrones. I haven't watched that one yet, but bro, Money Heist, bro, is a masterpiece. Masterpiece, and I feel like that's one of the shows that you gotta watch before you die. So every time I see like a bank heist or a heist in general, I just think of Tokyo and I think of Nairobi and Berlin. You know what I'm saying? For real, because that joke was crazy. It was crazy that your boy was rooting for the bad guys. Whole time, y'all, they weren't doing right. They was not doing right. They was some thieves, nigga. You feel me? The cops was doing their job. They supposed to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? But, bro, you know I was rooting for them niggas, though. I was mad as heck when Nairobi died. I was mad as heck when Tokyo, my baby Tokyo. Tokyo look fine, so. I know I'm mad when they did my girl Tokyo, but Tokyo went out like a soldier, though. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? My boy Burley. Shout out my boy Burley, man. BK. You know what I'm saying? But nah, though, man. I ain't gonna lie. Money Heist was definitely, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't think they were gonna make it out. You feel me? So they made it out. You feel me?
The knock at the door.
That was definitely one of the ones, though.
A manager at Northern Bank answers to find 2 men in police uniforms standing outside. They tell him that there's been a family accident. He needs to come with them to identify a body. It's a lie. The moment he steps outside, a gun is pressed against the back of his head. His wife, Karen, is strangled by her throat.
Holy crap.
Miles away, another family is being taken hostage. Chris Ward, a bank employee, watches helplessly as his family is held at gunpoint. The men give him a simple instruction: follow orders or they die. For the next 24 hours, Kevin and Chris will become pawns in a bigger plan than they can even imagine.
Northern Bank.
Walk into work the next morning, smile at their coworkers and bosses, and carry out the largest bank heist in UK history. By the time the vault is emptied, £26.5 million will be gone. No alarms will go off, no evidence will be found, and 2 decades later, the robbers and the money are still missing.
What?
This is the story of the Northern Bank robbery, the perfect crime.
They got away? Say you swear a real money heist in real life? Nigga had the professor for real? See, I don't know who you talking to. Talk about mod me. That right there kind of pissed me off when you said that. I ain't gonna lie. Like you said, mod me, like that was like, are you demanding me? You know what I mean? Are you asking me? I ain't gonna lie. I don't know why that just pissed me off.
Chris Ward, an employee
got pissed off when you said that. I don't know why, bro. Y'all, do I got anger issues? He just pissed me off. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the freak? What the freak you, bro? What the freak?
One of the 4 major banks of Northern Ireland is at his home in West Belfast watching football with his dad and mom and his girlfriend when a knock comes at the door.
Oh, shit.
Kevin answered. He found a man standing on his doorstep. The man smiles and says,
"All right, Chris, I'm here to talk about Celtic."
That's the Celtic Football Club, which happened to be Chris Ward's favorite club. As an active member of the club's supporters group, Chris is used to people showing up at his door and asking about tickets or club events. To him, it's business as usual, but this time it's about to be the biggest mistake of his life. He lets the man inside, but as he does, he notices something he missed at first. 2 other figures standing just out of sight in the shadows, entering his house as well. As soon as the men set foot in the house, everything changes.
It's finna get real.
Guns and pointed it straight at Chris's family.
Chris, we're not here to talk about football, but about your job at the cash center in the basement of the Northern Bank.
Chris froze in his place.
We know who you are. We know everything about you. We're gonna take you away for 24 hours. And your family is gonna be held for that time in this house. The first thing you're going to do is simple. You get your work uniform, then you're gonna walk out that door and step into the car waiting outside. No talking, no...
This how you know a nigga about business. It's the first thing I look at. You know what I'm saying? When a nigga pull out a gun. The first thing I look at.
Walk out that door and step
If you ever get it, look. If you ever get a gun pulled out on you, and that nigga handing on the trigger, he bluffing. But if this nigga hand on the trigger, that nigga not bluffing with you, gang. Do whatever that nigga say. Cause that nigga is for sure finna pop your little goofy self. I ain't gonna cap to you. He ain't bluffing. That's how you know if a nigga bluffing. That nigga handing on that trigger, then he bluffing. But if that nigga hand on that trigger right there, that nigga finna shoot you, so you better do everything that nigga say right now.
Waiting outside. No talking, no looking around, just move.
Chris does as he's instructed. Outside, a car waits with its engine running, the door already open. He's told to get in and lie down in the back. Behind the wheel, a driver sits silently, one hand on the steering wheel, the other gripping a gun. Chris gets in the back of the car and the driver pulls away.
And this what I'm saying, look. And this what I'm saying, y'all. This heist, because I don't want no niggas going out here getting no bad ideas for doing a heist. See, this type of heist right here, man, this planned out for months, man. They've been planning this for months, maybe years. You know what I'm saying? Did research on the nigga. They know exactly who this nigga is. You heard them. They came right inside the house. We know exactly who you are. They knew the nigga favorite ball club. They knew exactly who the freak that nigga was, man. So I encourage everybody, please do not go out here and do no heist.
Peering into the night, leaving Chris's family at the mercy of their captors. 20 miles away across Belfast, Kevin McMullen, a manager at Northern Bank, is about to experience the same fate. He and his wife, Karen McMullen, are sitting in their home in Loughlin Island, County Down, sipping tea and watching TV when they get the knock. Kevin found two men wearing PSNI uniform, that's the police service of Northern Ireland. One of the men is holding a clipboard with Kevin and Karen's names written on it. The men notified Kevin about a family incident and that he is needed immediately to identify the body. That is, of course, a lie. Kevin, caught off guard, took a step outside. The moment he did, the police officer pulled a gun and pressed it against the back of his head. Inside, Karen barely has time to react before an arm wraps around her throat, forcing her to the ground. As she struggled, she saw a third masked man enter the house. The three men immediately dragged Kevin and his wife into a spare bedroom, forced them to face the wall while holding them at gunpoint.
Kevin, forget your responsibilities at the Northern Bank. It's only a shower of orange bastards. None of that matters now. The only thing you need to think about is your wife.
Two of the men left the room and started cleaning everything meticulously, making sure that no fingerprints are left behind. After about an hour, the man in the room with him turns to Karen and tells her she's being moved to another house. He assures her that someone will take care of her there, another woman. But first, she needs to be blindfolded, and I mean her eyes will be taped shut.
Yeah, hey, I got an advice for you right quick. You know what I mean? Karen, just keep the blindfold on. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, do not take the blindfold off. You feel me? Because if you take the blindfold off, you just sign your death certificate. You know what I'm saying? Honestly. So keep the blindfold on and do what the freak they tell you, all right? You know what I mean? Because like I said, for me, I mean, bro, I'm going to keep it real. I'm just a worker, bro. At the end of the day, I'm not finna die for no job. So if you want the 28 million, you can take the 28 million, nigga. You know what I mean? I'm going to lead you directly to the money. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't finna die for it. This ain't my money. You know what I mean? This the bank money, but this ain't my money. So the CEO, the people that's real at the top of the food chain, those gonna be the ones that's losing out on money, not me. You feel me? So I ain't finna die for this issue, nigga.
Kevin watches helplessly as the men grab his blindfolded wife, lead her outside, and push her into a waiting car. Then just like that, she's gone. What Kevin doesn't know is that for the past hour, Chris Ward has also been held hostage in the house. His hands are cable tied behind his back, and he sits alone in the kitchen. The only light in the room comes from the open fridge. The men grab Chris and Kevin and force them into the living room.
You have a very simple choice. You work with us, you cooperate with us, and your families will be fine. If you don't, they're dead. It's as simple as that. Now, here's how this is going to go. We're going to rob the Northern Bank, and you're going to help. We will lay down a line of instructions for you. You follow them, word for word, no mistakes. You mess up, even once, your families pay the price. And trust me, you don't want that on your conscience.
In that moment, Kevin understood the gravity of the situation. This wasn't a robbery, this was a full-blown hostage crisis. And he and Chris are about to find themselves entangled in the biggest bank robbery in UK history.
It's happening in the UK?
With both of their families taken, the first phase of the plan is complete.
You know that. See, that's why niggas ain't got guns. You know, in in UK, you can't have no guns, bro. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. What's up, bruv? You know what I mean? I'm gonna stab you, bruv. You know what I mean? Real talk. Do not play with me, bruv. I have a big old knife right here, bruv. You know what I mean? UK people. Oh my God, I can't take UK people serious, bro. That accent is hilarious. You know what I mean? Like, I try to take y'all serious, but with that accent, UK, bro, y'all are funny, bruv. You know what I mean? Real talk, cuz. Like, I like the UK. I want to, learn how to speak like that. But, bro, y'all accent is annoying. See, I tried to watch the freaking, what's that Top Boy? Y'all ever watch Top Boy on Netflix? See, I tried to watch Top Boy. But I got tired of the UK accent, bruv. You know what I mean? Like, chill up, bruv. I'm like, I can't do it no more. You know what I mean? I can't watch Top Boy. You feel me? Just keeping it real with you. It's just somebody UK accent that just pisses me the freak off.
In Northern Ireland, tiger kidnappings were nothing new. A tiger kidnapping involves two crimes in one. First, someone valuable, a person or an asset, is taken hostage. But instead of demanding money, the kidnappers force their victim to commit a second crime on their behalf. During the Troubles, tiger robberies were a common tactic used by both organized crime groups and paramilitaries. Even after peace returned to Northern Ireland, these crimes never fully disappeared. The targets could be anything: banks, businesses, or even private homes. In fact, it was so common that authorities had to come up with smarter ways to protect high-value assets, like banknotes. A few years before the robbery, Northern Bank introduced a security measure. The main vault, where all the cash resides, requires 2 keys to unlock to make sure that no one enters the vault alone, and the assigned key holders must change every week. And by coincidence, the key holders for the next morning were Chris Ward and Kevin McMullen. The night feels like it never ends. The two bank employees are waiting for instructions while somewhere out there in the cold, Chris and Kevin's families are being held hostage. One of the men approached and handed over 2 phones, one for Chris and one for Kevin. Each phone has a C and a K engraved on the back, C for Chris and K for Kevin. The phones only had one number stored in them. Later, when the time comes, that phone will change everything. The men order them to sit down on the couch and listen. But just before they started giving their plan, Chris out of nowhere asked for a can of beer, and surprisingly, the captors agreed to give him one. No one knows exactly why he made the request, maybe to show that he isn't hostile, that he's cooperating, maybe out of fear for his family. But there's one thing that's important to know. When it comes to talking, only one man does it. He's the one holding what Karen described as a vicious-looking knife. The others mostly communicate with each other by whistling, clicking their tongues, or jingling the change in their pockets. Most of the time, the house is silent. The only sound is the noise of the men cleaning, non-stop. The captors then begin laying out the exact instructions of the robbery, what to do, how to do it, and when, and always reminding them of what's at stake. We don't know exactly what was said in that living room, but according to trial records, the conversation took several hours, and the captors knew everything about the bank, its blueprints, its employees, and even the exact timing of the security shift changes. They knew it all. The scheme was also carefully thought out. Every detail of this thing was precise.
The plan is simple. Go to work and act normal. Go to the underground vault. Put £1 million in the bag that we will give you.
See, and I was finna say, dang, when he at, why, you know what I'm saying? Like, when he go to work, he ain't telling niggas like, hey, bro, you know what I mean? But then I had to retrace back in my mind. I'm like, okay, they got his family. You know what I'm saying? So that right there in the back of a nigga mind, okay, if I tell everybody, bro, I'm being used for a bank heist, if I tell everybody what the freak going on, my family gonna die. You feel me? So I was finna say, dang, why he ain't gonna tell everybody, you know what I'm saying, what the freak going on? I was like, okay, so his wife got took. His wife and his children, you know what I'm saying, is taken, held captive. So I was like, okay. These niggas thought out this heist, thought out this heist to a T, bro.
To a bus stop, set the bag down, go back to the bank, raise the alarm, and leave. But most importantly, keep that phone turned on at all times.
Because you see, the captors are being careful. Not the entire scheme is going to be revealed this evening. The rest will be shared through the phone. Once Chris and Kevin are at the bank, anything can go wrong. Kevin or Chris might alert the authorities, a security officer might bust them, or something unexpected could happen. But that phone will be the key to everything. From the way that the captors spoke, Chris and Kevin knew that they aren't messing around. So without hesitation, they agreed to follow the instructions the gang had given them, word for word. With everything in place, at around 2 a.m., the men ordered Kevin and Chris to get some sleep. Tomorrow, they said, would be a big day.
And they said, I always want to go on a heist. He said, when I was younger. All right, man. Good thing you was younger. You know what I mean? But yeah, don't go on no heist. You feel me? Because all it takes is one mistake. One mistake and you're done. You're doomed.
It's 11 a.m. Kevin is driving his car
One
heading to
mistake.
work with Chris sitting next to him. Chris's shift starts at 11:30 a.m. with Kevin following half an hour later. On a normal day, when Chris isn't the key holder, he works as a supervisor in the machine area, sorting cash and making sure that every banknote goes where it needs to. He usually handles millions of pounds each day, but today is different. With just 4 days till Christmas, the bank is busier than ever. Today, Chris won't be handling millions, but tens of millions. Kevin and Chris enter the bank acting normal, and they went straight to Kevin's desk and sat there for a while, going over the plan and to kill time. You see, according to the instructions, the heist has to begin at exactly 5 p.m. But before that, Kevin and Chris had to call the captors 3 times, once for each checkpoint. The calls weren't just to confirm that everything was on track, they were also a reminder, a warning that if anything went wrong, their families would pay the price. At around 4:30 p.m., Kevin tells the staff that there's a problem with the balance and Chris and he have to do a full recount, so the staff are dismissed for the evening. Now, only Chris, Kevin, and 2 security officers remain in the bank. They have the whole basement to themselves. After 30 minutes, at exactly 5 p.m., they begin. They make their way down to the underground cash center vault, and using their keys, they unlock the heavy door and stepped inside. The room is packed with cash, freshly printed banknotes, worn-out bills, euros, and US dollars stacked in every direction. They went straight to a stack of green boxes filled with freshly printed banknotes. Each box was sealed with a metal security seal. The gang had given them specific instructions to swap the metal seals for white ones. Later, we'll understand why they did that. Kevin knew about a blind spot in the cash center where they could fill the bag without being recorded by any of the security cameras. Then, they started filling the bag that the gang had given them with 1 million pounds in 50-pound and 100-pound banknotes from one of the vaults. The instructions were to fill it up to the fullest. It took them 15 minutes to do so. Chris immediately slung the bag over his shoulder and walked out. No security codes, no keys, no guards, nothing. The path was clear. Chris has to make one last phone call to know which way to go. He got out of the bank and walked a few yards to a bus stop on Upper Queen Street, set the bag down, and waited. About 3 minutes later, a man arrived to pick it up. Without a word, Chris left and headed back to the bank. Now, only one final step left: raise the alarm and go home. Then hopefully everything would go back to normal. Chris would finally see his family again, and Kevin would reunite with his wife. But as Chris was heading back, the
thing is like, is they gonna get charged for it though? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, they is participating in a crime. You know what I'm saying? They is participating in a crime. So are they gonna get charged for the crime? You know what I mean? Honestly, but they're a hostage though, so they shouldn't get charged for the crime, you know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I think these guys got away, man. You know what I'm saying? They did get away. The most genius bank heist ever. Yeah, I think they got away, man. I don't think they were caught, bro. I think they got away with 28 million euros, man.
Phone rang.
Good. You did exactly as you were told.
So what now?
Now you go back inside and take more. What?
It turns out the heist of the Northern...
They're like, nigga, what? You talking about go inside and take more? Come on, man. What? I just snuck out like 15 million euros, man. Go outside and take more. Oh, my God. My family is dead. You know what I'm saying? My family is going. They're dead.
Bank would happen in stages, and this
Cause then, okay, what if I get caught, right? What if I get caught? They not finna come and they're not finna freaking come forward and say they did it. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like it's no evidence. You know what I mean? When it comes to them being a hostage, it's no evidence. Bro, I was held hostage, bro, by some freaking robbers. Where the robbers at? You know what I mean? What a bank robbers. So we gotta think like that. Where the freak the robbers at? So you get caught, nigga, they ain't finna come up on your behalf, nigga. Nigga, you caught, you screwed, nigga. You seen how the cops see you? Nigga, you try to walk out that bank with $15 million. That's how the cops see you, so you finna lose your job, your family finna get killed, and you finna go to jail, nigga. These niggas knew exactly what they was doing, nigga. Using him for the heist in case they got caught, in case he got caught. You know what I'm saying? He get caught, it falls on him.
It's just stage
It don't fall
one.
on us.
How much? All of it.
That nigga said all of it. Shit.
Before we break down the next
My
stage,
family
we
got
need
a
to understand
DACA.
how cash is actually delivered to the bank. At the back of the bank, there's a single entrance leading to Bullion Bay Alley into Wellington Street, the only gateway where every banknote enters and leaves. The only company allowed through that entrance is Securicor, the firm responsible for transporting money in and out of the bank. The plan is to send a van into Bullion Bay to pick up green boxes filled with cash. Each box could hold up to £1 million. Now, how would they do that? Remember when Chris and Kevin swapped the security seals on the boxes back in the cash center? Well, in the banking system, a white seal on a green box doesn't mean money. It means the box is filled with waste paper. Now, the second stage is to move the repurposed boxes disguised as rubbish out through the back shutter door into the Bullion Bay, where a white van will be waiting to collect them. But there is one major problem. Only Securicor and Delivery Services vans are allowed into the alley, driven by verified employees with official ID. When Kevin told the gangs that this was practically impossible, their response was simple.
You're the boss of the bank. You get paid the big money. Make it happen.
Chris, feeling shocked, he walked back into the bank and headed straight for the vault where the green boxes were stored. There were 24 in total, each capable of holding between £500,000 and £1 million, a staggering amount of cash to smuggle out unnoticed. Kevin and Chris got to work, loading 6 boxes into each of the 4 trolleys, basically emptying the vault. Then, one by one, they wheel the trolleys out of the vault.
Ain't no way these niggas finna get away with
past the
this.
security control room where 27 monitors recorded everything. Before they could move the boxes outside, Kevin needed to ensure a clear exit. He walked into the control room and spoke to Billy, the security guard. He told him that a van would be arriving soon to collect the waste and that the back gate needed to be opened. Billy, suspecting nothing, agreed, but he has to come with them. With the path now clear, Kevin pushed the first trolley into Bullion Bay, moved a few meters from Billy, and made the call to the captors.
It's done. Bring in the van.
It took 15 minutes for the van to arrive, reversing down Wellington Street until its tailgate was level with the bank's back door. The back of the van swung open and 2 men jumped out. Now Kevin, Chris, and Billy stood face to face with the men who were about to take all of the money. They began loading the boxes into the van one by one, 24 boxes in total, packed with cash, £18.5 million to be exact. The entire process took 7 minutes. When they were done, one of the men called Chris and handed him a roll of black polythene. Unbelievably, the robbers weren't done. They were coming back for more. The final stage of the heist is about to begin. Chris and Kevin, still in shock, rushed back into the vault. There was no time to think.
Nigga, look at this. Them niggas done clean that vault out, my nigga. Oh my God.
Chris and Kevin, still in shock,
Them
rushed
niggas
back
clean, bro. Oh my God, man. Them niggas clean that vault out. Boy, them some rich man that day, man.
to begin.
God.
Chris and Kevin, still in shock, rushed back into the
Them
vault.
niggas stole
There was
all the
no
money
time
out the
to think,
vault.
only to act. They grabbed handfuls
Niggas
of
didn't even
bank-
step foot in the bank. They use these niggas. It's not really like, honestly, I mean, it's easier said than done, but these niggas didn't even step foot in the bank. They just did they heavy research and found out that these niggas was in control, you know what I'm saying, of the vault. You know what I'm saying? Just keeping it real with you. They just found these niggas. They showed up to their house, put a gun to their head, you know what I'm saying, got their family held hostage, You know what I'm saying? And basically use these niggas to carry out the plan. You feel me? It's like I said, it's easier said than done, but man, them niggas ain't stepped foot in that bank, bro.
Banknotes.
I thought them niggas was finna be on some money heist. How them niggas stepped foot in the bank, you know what I'm saying? Niggas, you know, the customers held hostage, the people that work the bank held hostage, you know, and then they try to dig a hole like on some money heist type stuff, but man, them folks, they ain't stepped foot in that bank, man.
Stuffing them into the large black polythene bags
Clean these
as
niggas
fast
out.
as they could. The first and second round
Broad
had been
day.
freshly printed, brand new cash, but this time it was a messy mix of used banknotes, euros, and US dollars, making a total of 5.1 million pounds in total. They worked in silence, knowing the robbers would be back. Then 45 minutes later, Billy called Kevin to let them know that the van is here. Kevin felt his stomach drop. This time, there were no green boxes to disguise the cash, just loose bags packed with millions. Kevin told Billy to open the inner gate. If Billy so much as glanced inside the bags, the entire operation was done. Chris and Kevin loaded the bags into a rolling cage, pushing it through the hallway toward Bullion Bay, where Billy was waiting. If he checked the bags, even out of curiosity, it was over. But he didn't. And why would he? Kevin's his boss. They started loading 5.1 million pounds right into the van, right in front of the security guard. Once the last bag had been loaded into the van, one of the men looked at him and simply said,
"That's it, lads. You can go."
and just like that, it was over. Kevin and Chris were told to raise the alarm and leave as if nothing had happened, as if they hadn't just helped pull off the biggest bank robbery in UK history. Without a word, they got into Kevin's car and drove straight to his house to reunite with their families if they were even still alive. The robbery is done.
Just like that, fellas, man. Just like that. Pull out the biggest heist.
Hello, how you doing? I wanted
in
to
history.
just through an ordeal of an abduction. I actually work in the Northern Bank Heist Centre. We used to rob it. How much are we talking now? 30 minutes on the rest. Oh my god.
At 8:10 p.m.,
My
Kevin called
God.
the PSNI, letting them know that he had just helped rob the Northern Bank. But they had already known. A few moments earlier, a young couple had walked past Bullion Bay and noticed the white van parked outside the bank. They felt that something was wrong, something was off. Following their instincts, they decided to report it to the first uniformed person that they saw, which happened to be a traffic warden, who immediately called the police. By the time the call went through, the van was already gone, never to be seen again. The police arrived and they were mind blown to find that 26.5 million pounds had vanished from the bank. The head of PSNI immediately launched a nationwide hunt for the perpetrators. In the months that followed, the investigation became one of the most frustrating in UK history. The first wave of arrests came fast. Raids against Belfast, Dublin, and Cork. The police rounded up men tied to Sinn Féin, the IRA, and other known criminals, hoping to find a trail that led back to the robbers. 3 men were caught at Heuston Station in Dublin, one of them carrying nearly 100,000 euros hidden in a box of washing powder. A financial advisor in Cork had 2.3 million pounds stashed in compost. Another man was arrested for burning sterling banknotes in his backyard. But of all the arrests, the most shocking was Kevin McMullen, the bank manager. The police suspected that someone inside the bank had to be involved. Because the operation was so sophisticated, they believed the criminals were part of the military. The hostages were forced to basically answer in a line of command. And Kevin, he was only one of 2 people to have access to the vault. For a full year, Kevin McMullen sat in a cell, accused of helping plan the biggest...
See? Told y'all, bro. I knew I wasn't tripping. I'm like, bro, they gonna look at you, bro, like you had something to do with that heist. That nigga sat in jail for a full year. That probably don't sound long to y'all, man. A full year in jail, man. 3 days a long time in jail. You know what I'm saying? So much can happen in a year. You feel me? I tried to tell y'all, I was like, bro, that junk gonna fall back on them, bro. Even if they was the hostage, that junk gonna fall right back on them, bro. They knew what the freak they was doing, man. I told them, man, these robbers ain't stepped foot in the bank, man. It was using them to do the dirty work. You know what I'm saying? So the police can look no other way but Kevin. You know what I mean? Okay, we can't find nobody. We ain't, you know, we ain't got no type of trace. We ain't got nothing. Kevin, you know what I'm saying? We need you to sit in jail for a year. You know what I mean? We looking at you as the main suspect right now. Because there's no way they pulled off this heist and you were not involved.
bank robbery in UK history. The pressure had to have been
That
unbearable.
nigga sat in jail for a year.
After 12 months of questioning, searches, and investigations, the police had to admit the truth that they had nothing. Not a single piece of evidence linked Kevin to the robbery.
No way these niggas got away. No way.
Admit the truth that they had nothing. Not a single piece of evidence linked Kevin to the robbery, no suspicious bank transactions, no phone calls, nothing. In the end, he walked free. The police then turned to Chris Ward, the second key holder. Unlike Kevin, Chris wasn't management, he was just a bank employee. But he was in charge of the staff work rota, and the police found it suspicious that he had scheduled himself and Kevin as key holders.
That nigga finna sit a year in jail too.
On November 29th, 2005,
flip from Kevin
Chris
to
was
Chris.
arrested and accused of being the insider who made the heist possible. His home was searched, and even his part-time job at Casement Park, a Gaelic sports stadium, was raided by 25 Land Rovers from the police. But just like Kevin, there was no
Oh shoot, original footage from the robbery? Bro, this real footage from the robbery. So this Kevin and Chris. Oh shoot. Shoot, the freak.
And even his
exclusive footage right here, man. Exclusive footage.
Job at Casement Park, a Gaelic sports stadium, was raided by 25 Land Rovers from the police. But just like Kevin, there was no real evidence. Chris went to trial in 2008, but when the time came, the prosecution had nothing. The key argument, that he had changed the staff schedule on purpose, fell apart when the bank confirmed it had been a management decision. Chris was fully acquitted. By the end of 2005, the police had conducted 22 searches and made 13 arrests, but every lead hit a dead end. Most of the arrested men were either charged with money laundering or IRA connections, but no one was ever convicted for the actual robbery. The money is still missing, and the robbers have never been caught.
Dang, them niggas never been caught. Them niggas still walking free today with $28 million. Them boys, hey, these niggas hit the quickest lick, boy, I've ever heard of.
Families were found
every,
safe.
you know what I'm saying, heist I reacted to, every crime I then reacted to, bro, they got caught at the end. But these niggas is walking around today, you know what I'm saying, with $28 million. You know what I mean? They pulled off, you know, biggest heist in UK history.
At least physically. Chris's family had been held inside his home the entire time, while Kevin's wife, Karen, was taken deep into the Drumkira forest and locked inside an abandoned cabin. There was no woman there to, quote, take care of her as the gang had promised. Before leaving, the captors destroyed her car, erasing any evidence that could link them to the crime. The Northern Bank robbery wasn't just a crime, it was a humiliation for law enforcement. £26.5 million stolen, families held hostage, 2 bank employees forced to help, and the robbers disappearing without a trace. The police had one job, find out who did it, and they failed. To this day, the case remains open, yet unsolved. Thank you so much.
Oh my God. Them niggas got away with $28 million. Oh, I thought them niggas were gonna get caught, but hey man, that was the most genius bank heist ever. If y'all do want to see videos like these right here, you know what I mean, it is in the true crime playlist section, you know what I'm saying? Yeah man, something was crazy, man. So we're gonna do some scare reactions, right? Do some scare reactions, you know what I'm saying? Let's go and see.